Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our night of mindfulness meditation. I'm James Wetzel, the producer of adult programs at the Museum of Science, and I am so thrilled to introduce our special guests for this evening. Before I do so, though, I just wanted to mention that this week, the museum is proud to mark the 30th anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act. We celebrate this important civil rights law that works to ensure all people with disabilities have the same rights and opportunities as everyone else. Here at the museum, we strive to ensure that the museum is accessible to people of all abilities within our exhibit halls and online at MOS at Home. As a leader in universal design in our exhibits, we also include measures such as closed captioning in all virtual live presentations, including tonight's, deliberate and descriptive language in our presentations, and visual aids for exhibits, just to name a few. So for more information and details, you can visit us at mos.org/accessibility. And tonight, I'm thrilled to welcome back our friend Maité with the Institute for Integrative Mindfulness and Movement. We first collaborated with Maité in the Institute back in June on a very special evening of meditation to great success. All of you kept asking us for more, so we're thrilled to have Maité back here with a new meditation exercise inspired by space and the cosmos. And tonight is a part of our current summer virtual season of adult programming, which is a part of MOS at Home. We've turned the Museum of Science into a virtual museum, offering free STEM-related content on a daily basis as a part through our digital platforms. And as a part of that, we have launched our Subspace Adult Programs After Dark channel to host tonight's event and the rest of our upcoming lineup. We still have about a month left of our summer season, some great events still to come. So I urge you to check out our full lineup and keep coming back and hanging out with us after dark. And make sure that you are signed up for our adult programs email list because we are getting ready and putting the final touches on our fall virtual season. And we'll be making that announcement very soon. You won't want to miss that either. So a little bit later on tonight, Maité will have the chance to answer all of your questions. So if you have any while you're going through the program tonight, feel free to submit those using the Q&A function at the bottom of your screen if you're watching with us through Zoom. I need to thank our friends at the Lowell Institute for making tonight possible. Without them and their continued support of the adult programming, we would not be here tonight and this event would not be free. So please join me in giving a huge virtual round of applause to the Lowell Institute. And finally, after the event tonight, I ask you to consider making a gift to support MOS at Home by going to donate.mos.org/MOS at Home and become a vital partner in education by helping us provide access to STEM experiences online just like tonight. Once again, that's donate.mos.org/MOS at Home. But now I'm going to turn it over to our host for this evening. Please join me in welcoming to the Zoom, Maité. Take it away, Maité.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining tonight. I'm Maïté, and I am so honored to be back with you for another night of mindfulness meditation. I am the founder of the Institute for Mindfulness and Movement, and I am an international mindfulness meditation teacher, as well as a master teacher trainer in Pilates. So I'm really excited tonight to present a new program to you, inspired by the cosmos. We'll talk a little bit first about the science behind mindfulness, always a fascinating topic. And after that, after a fun poll on the science of mindfulness, we'll explore a few pictures together of the cosmos and its beauty to let us gaze into the present moment, connect to ourselves, and explore a guided practice together. A practice today more on allowing space for ourselves, of being present to the moment and sensing the experience as it arises. And then lastly, we'll finish with some Q&A. So feel free throughout this session to post any questions, comments, sharing, impressions about your experience here tonight. Thank you again for joining. Let's enjoy the moment. So for tonight's session, some of you I know have practiced mindfulness for perhaps quite some time. Some of you maybe not. So we can remind ourselves that mindfulness means paying attention to the present moment experiences with a willingness to be with what is, with kindness, with openness, and curiosity. So of course, mindfulness has been practiced for millennia, and the science of mindfulness actually fairly new, right? Thanks to neuroscience and all the imaging happening through MRI, CT scan, all the beautiful devices, and we get to understand more and more about the science behind mindfulness, what it does to our brain, to our body, to our interaction with people, how maybe we can better handle our stress or regulate our emotions, and perhaps also generate conscious positive actions and intentions toward the world. So for the first question that we're going to have to explore the science of mindfulness and learn a little bit more, I wanted to today explore a little bit more about the concept of our body and our brain when we are encountering moments of relaxation, of rest, of ease, like perhaps I hope you're having now, and also when we are confronted to maybe the stress and what happens to our body. So James, if you could please bring in the first question. So this question relates to the relaxation response. So when we are at rest, our body is in the relaxation response mode. And so the prefrontal cortex in the brain activates and elicits a response in the nervous system. Do you think that the name of this response is activated in the sympathetic nervous system or the parasympathetic nervous system? So when we are at rest, which nervous system is activated? So I'll let you take a few moments to place your votes. We have over 150 people present in the room. So let's take the votes, see what happens. Okay, and I can see that the majority of you think that when we are at rest, the parasympathetic nervous system takes over. Yeah, this is true. When we are at rest, as you know, maybe your heart will calm down, you feel just more rested. And so when we are stressed out, the sympathetic nervous system takes over, right? And a lot of manifestation happens into your body, right? Think of a moment when you are stressed. Maybe your heart starts beating faster, maybe your jaw are clenched, maybe your body feels tight, you have knots in your stomach. So let's bring in the next question, which is all about now understanding a little bit more what's happening in our brain when we are stressed. So which part of the brain is wired to perform when in stress reaction mode? The first part of the brain that is activated, do you think is the prefrontal cortex or do you think is the amygdala? So take a moment to think about it, place your vote, have fun with it. And what do we have? Yes, 58% of you have said that the amygdala is the first part of the brain that is wired to perform when we are under the stress reaction mode as opposed to the prefrontal cortex. That is true. When we are feeling stress, we need to respond to what we perceive as a threat. So the body is either going to respond in an aggressive mode or a defensive mode. You may have heard as fight or flight response. This is exactly what it's referring to. So the amygdala is going to send signal into the body to have this response of either maybe aggression, defensiveness, and sometimes to protect us in the very right way, right? So then that's going to change all kinds of different reactions. You may feel the dancing, maybe you want to run away, and those reactions can be very helpful. This in older times, in prehistoric time, they had to survive. You know, when it was threat, the human species wanted to survive, so it responded for a good cause to stress. But the problem is that when we are overstressed and we can't find moments to relax, to bring the body back to more of stage of calm, of peace, we tend to get overtired. Maybe that's why we get a burnout, because the body never gets a chance to recover from that stress. So on that note, through mindfulness, we can rewire the brain. So instead of always reacting too quick, being stressed out, rewire the brain by bringing our consciousness to behavior, to attitude that we have that may serve us really well in some instance, but maybe some that which should be abandoned. So we have a psychologist, Donald Erb, that helped us a lot in that domain. He's called the father of neuropsychology. So he studied neuroscience and psychology. And he's famous for having proposed the Ibian rules, which is sometimes summarized as neurons that fire together, wire together. So that's how, if we have helpful habits, for instance, the more we repeat them, the more we can wire them in our brain and adapt those good behavior that's going to serve us and help. So let's bring in the third question now and see what it says. So neurons fire together most when a person is in a state of selective attention or sustained attention. So how can we basically help our neurons fire together even more by bringing a certain type of attention? Which attention do you think would be helpful? Selective or sustained? What do you think? Maybe you're wondering what selective and sustained are. Yeah, so the 65% of you, great job, have answered a sustained attention as opposed to selective attention. So now you're going to tell me, but what does that mean? And yes, you are welcome to participate in the chat and ask this question. However, I'm happy to answer it now. The difference between selective and sustained attention, when we have sustained attention, we make a conscious choice to bring our attention onto a certain object. When it's selective, it's an unconscious choice. So a sustained choice of attention would be, for instance, you are choosing to read a book. You are really focused on reading the book. You are not being distracted by anything else. You're getting the task done. If you're in a selective type of attention, that would happen often, for instance, when you are in a room full of people, you're hearing many conversations, but you're able to have one conversation with someone, right? So your attention naturally focuses on that person who is speaking to you. So that takes us to the next and fourth question, which is more based on the egoic mind. So when we spend a lot of time not being able to sustain our attention, we tend to default into stories about the past or projection about the future. We kind of get lost into the me, I want to do this. Oh, I wish I did that. I would like to do that. Why did I say this? How can I cope for this situation? And there's been some studies by Warren Brown and Mark Leary about the egoic mindset. So what they did is that they compared different cognitive features that distinguish the low level and the high level of egoicism. So let's see how they defined an hypoegoism with the next and fourth question. A person who is hypoegoic would be characterized as one who focuses a higher proportion of their attention, focusing on the present moment or ruminating about the past and the future. So what is an hypoegoic as opposed to maybe an hyperegoic person? What do you think? Do they place their attention more in the present or in the past and the future? Ooh, that's interesting. 27 said focusing in the present moment and 73% said ruminating about the past and the future. Well, guess what? The 27% of you who answered, you are right. An hypoegoic person is characterized as one who spends more time focusing on the present moment because they are more able to, perhaps through the practice of mindfulness, paying attention to the present moment, to turn off those thoughts that bring us into our stories, being caught up into what happened in the past, what happened in the future, you know, when we're going into a narrative about, I need to plan this to-do list, or why didn't I do this yesterday? So being an hypoegoic person can be probably more developed thanks to mindfulness meditation. Something to be explored, and the research still needs a lot of time to develop and give us more conclusive results, but that's still very interesting. If you're interested about reading more about that, it comes from the Oxford Handbook of Hypoegoic Phenomena. So the next question, and it is the last one, yeah, 5, is about the neuroscience research. So this one takes us more in connection to what we're going to do today in our mindfulness meditation practice. So when we choose to practice mindfulness meditation, we have 2 different styles. Those styles have been defined in the annual review of the clinical psychology, mindfulness meditation, and psychopathology by Joseph Wilgots and his team. And they've defined 2 types. So one, which you will have to guess, and another one. So the first one, I'm going to give you the definition. The first style of meditation is emphasized by sustaining focus on a chosen object of attention. And then the second one is defined by a style of meditation where we are emphasizing the present centered awareness and the monitoring of the experience without restricting the attention on a fixed focus. So what are the names of those styles of meditation? That's the next question, if you can bring it. What are the names of the 2 styles of mindfulness meditation? Are they one, the focused attention and open monitoring, or are they 2, the sustained awareness and the panoramic attention? So again, while you are thinking about this harder question, perhaps, the first style of meditation is where we are focusing our attention into a single object of awareness, for instance, your breath, a sound, a body sensation. The second style is where you are expanding your awareness so that you are aware without any restriction to any experiences as they are arising into the present moment. So what do you think? Is it the first or the second answer? Wow, it's almost a tie like last time, almost 50-50. So 51% of you think that the 2 styles of mindfulness meditation are one, focused attention and open monitoring, and the 49% of you think that it is sustained awareness and panoramic attention. So I'm glad I made this question hard. The correct answer is focus attention and open monitoring. So if you read articles, if you're interested in this type of research, sometimes you see them abbreviated as FA for focus attention and OM, open monitoring, but sometimes they have also other names. So thank you so much for your vivid participation in the poll. It was very fun and interactive for me. I hope it was for you. I hope you learned something of value. So for today's meditation, we are going to practice more into an open awareness type of meditation, an open monitoring, when we're not going to be focusing so much onto maybe our breath or our bodies, or you can always return to those objects if it's what you like to do, if that correspond more to how you'd like to practice today. But we are going to focus more on opening up the space to let that awareness be here, present, wide, spacious. So on that note, I would like to share, to inspire us for that practice, some slides that were taken by the NASA, the Hubble. So if you can please share the screen, the slide for us. And those slides have been inspired by the cosmos. So thank you for your patience. Yes, that's pulling up beautiful. So this first slide is a picture that was taken a few years ago by the Hubble Space Telescope. So I let you take a few minutes to really take in that picture and see what you're seeing. And maybe soon enough, or even just it took only a very few moments, you may notice that already your mind has been making an association, right, with what it's used to be seeing. Can you see perhaps a smiley face, a happy face, right, with two eyes and a nose, and then the contour of a face? So these beautiful images not only shows us our tendencies of our mind to see things and associate things as we know them here on Earth. Can be a good thing. It's not always helpful. Sometimes it is. It also shows maybe how friendly the universe can be, how unexpected. And so the name of this happy face here is actually composed of two galaxies. Those are the two eyes. They're the galaxies with long names and numbers. So if you want them later, ask me in the chat and I'll write them down. You can ask me an email, I'll write them down. But basically, you can see that there are two massive structures that wraps around, and there is a sort of a cosmic length effect that you can see with the contour of that face. And those actually are effects that where the light has been magnified, distorted, and bent because of the gravitational pull. So quite fascinating how what we see may not be. So let's go to the next slide. Yeah. So this one is a mix of galaxies on the top, and at the bottom is a nebulae. So on the left-hand side is called the open arms, and you can see it's like a spiral with arms going around. The top right-hand side is called the sombrero, another galaxy, and the last one is called the tantalizing veil. And it's a nebulae. So a nebulae, as opposed to a galaxy, is made of gas and dust. It's kind of like a cloud, if you like. And the galaxy can contain a nebulae, and there are stars, there are black holes, all those beautiful things. So let's go to the next slide. I think this one is also quite fascinating. I'm taking a moment here to take in those objects and sense them. You can see on the left all the beautiful colors. So blues, yellow, reds. And this one is the Helix Nebula. Maybe it looks like an eye. Some people describe it as a donut. So noticing what the mind likes to associate object with. And this is a sun-like star. It's dying. So you can see all the different colors and maybe the texture. Some people say that there's two rings and that they are perpendicular to one another. So have to see, but it's about two gaseous disks that may be perpendicular. And on the other hand side, this one is the NGC 6302 nebula. It's commonly known as the Butterfly Nebulae, and actually this one is present in the Messier, in our galaxy. And you can see all the constellation of stars, layers of stars. They are about 3,800 light years away from the constellation of the Scorpius. So that's very inspiring, I think, to take in the space, the shape, and you can use those images to be inspired through that meditation. And then lastly, this is perhaps my favorite image for the night. This one is the Messier 79 Globular Cluster. So Globular Cluster is a globe of stars. Usually they are close to a million of stars. And this one was actually discovered in 1780 by a French astronomer, Pierre Méchain. but he reported his finding to his colleague, Charles Messier, who wrote them down in his catalog. So that's why it has his name. And here you can notice all the different colors. So the yellow white stars and the red. The red stars are the older stars, the ones that are dying. And some of them are blue. And those ones, they have helium in them. So now I will invite you to take a moment to invite yourself to be present here in the room. Maybe to look a little bit, not only at the screen, but at the space around you in the room. Noticing where you are the first time we are together in this very moment in this room. And noticing the shape and the object and the structure that you can see in this room. And here, perhaps instead of looking at the environment around you with just the object, maybe noticing the chair or the table or a tree, see if you can switch your focus so you are seeing the spaces in between objects. So perhaps I'm sorry if you're not hearing me. I'm not sure. That's you. So can you hear me now? Is it better? So taking a few moments here. Do you hear me again now? So I'm going to continue. I hope you are still here and this is just a small glitch. So looking at the space around you and just noticing in between the different objects, each space. So perhaps if you see a chair or two before you, the space between the chair. If you see the lights through the window, you can see the space right here. Good, I see some of you can hear me. I am much relieved. So taking a moment here to drop into the moment and just seeing the object and the space in between the object. So for instance, if you're looking at me, you can see the space on my head and you can see the space between maybe you and the wall. So observing for a few moments here, all the space between you and any object and seeing the space around each. And then whenever you are ready, slowly turning your attention inwards toward yourself. So perhaps closing your eyes or keeping the eyes open with a soft gaze downward at 45-degree angle. And taking a few deep breaths, inviting presence, feeling the inhale into the body and the exhale, letting go, dropping in, arriving here, present, awake, with the intention to meet our present experiences just as they are. Sensing the body, maybe sitting on the chair or the cushion in a comfortable posture, not too rigid, but upright. Sensing the feet on the floor. The legs against the chair, or if you are lying down the floor. Sensing the torso and the spine. Erect, but not too rigid. Allowing the arms and the hands to fall along the sides. Hands can be right by the side or on top of each other. Shoulder open. Head and neck balancing on top of the spine. Connecting here into the body. Feeling your physical presence into the space, into the room. Allowing the breath to return back to its natural rhythm. For a few moments, just sensing the arising of the breath with the inhale expanding into the body and the exhale deflating. The expansion and the contraction. Sensing the air coming in and out. And perhaps inviting a little bit more ease, softening, relaxing into the body if possible. And if not, this is not a problem. In mindfulness, we are meeting our experience as it is, as it's arising, not trying to change anything, not trying to do anything, to go anywhere, but just dropping in, being here in the moment, in the here and the now. And then now, as you are sensing your physical presence in the space, in the room, maybe sensing the effect of gravity onto the body, allowing the body to be completely supported, sensing the solidity of the floor, the earth, the groundedness, the sensation into the feet, and knowing that through this practice, as we are going to shift to open awareness shortly, you can always bring back your attention to a more narrow focus onto the feet. At any time, you can just send the feet in contact with the ground, noticing if they are warm or cold, if there are any pulsing sensation, tingling. And otherwise, let's gently open the awareness into a bit of a wider focus. Allowing the body to breathe from all its pores. Sensing your presence into the room. Sensing the space before you and behind you. Sensing the space on either side of you. Above you and below you. Feeling the three dimensions of the environment in which you are right here, right now, for a few moments, maybe sensing the temperature, the air, the atmosphere. And inviting the field of your awareness to be fully present, open, expansive, and vast, just like the sky. Just like the universe, resting here in awareness. And it is very possible that you are noticing some thoughts arising, or some sensations or emotions. So here, this is perfectly normal. So as soon as we are noticing maybe a thought taking us away, taking us into the past, into rumination, or into the future, into planning, into to-do list, not diving into the content of the thought, letting go. And just bringing the awareness to being here in that vast awareness like the sky, allowing any thoughts, any distraction to be floating by like cloud in the sky, like stars in the universe. And if this feels like it's too much, you can always at any time come back to your feet to a more narrow focus anchor point. So taking a few moments here in silence to just being, sensing in open awareness what is, with the arising and going away of the experiences without diving into the content, just resting here, simply being. And inviting now your ears to receive any vibration, any sound, including the sound of silence, coming to your ears, arising and going away. Any sound that are perhaps close to you, and any sound that are perhaps distant to you. Allowing your ears to receive this manifestation of vibration into your ears. Perhaps noticing soon enough any tendencies of the mind to want to label these sounds, to want to name them, to identify them, to even perhaps describe them. So allowing the mind to rest here for a moment in awareness of only receiving the sounds as they are arising and dissipating. Noticing any pitch in the sound, tonality, intensity. Any maybe frequency or irregularity of these sounds. Simply receiving the sound, listening to them like music. And again, if the mind is elsewhere, no need to dive into the content of the thought, just noticing the thought arising and again dissipating, vanishing. And gently with kindness toward yourself, no need to judge. Just coming back to the awareness of sensing the sounds for what they are. Maybe even pushing further the curiosity of your awareness by noticing the spaces in between the sounds, the spaces in between my words. The sounds of silence. And if we are noticing any struggling, any particular body sensation, anything that pulls us away, it is not a problem. Noticing what is. And again, as a new beginning in this new moment, reopening the vastness of your awareness like the sky. Noticing again the arising and going away of the sound. Like shooting star passing by in the sky. Holding it all in the boundless spaciousness, limitless sky of your own awareness. Letting go of any wanting, doing, creeping, thriving, but just being here. Meeting a sound, and then another, the touching and coming away. And it is very possible as you are sitting here that not only you are perceiving sound in the vast field of your awareness, but Perhaps you are noticing body sensations, thoughts, images, feelings, emotions. So allowing yourself to fully meet your experience as it is, encountering moment by moment, experience after experience. Holding it all in open awareness. For a few moments, noticing perhaps a sound and another, or the breath, or a body sensation, or an emotion, without going into the content of a story, just noticing what is. And noticing how each experience arises, exists for just a moment, and vanishes. So now for a few moments in silence, resting in open awareness. Encountering moment by moment, breath by breath, sound after sound. While cultivating a quality of kindness toward your experience, of openness and curiosity. You're rising and going away just like cloud floating by, nebulae passing by in the universe, shooting star appearing and disappearing, allowing your moment by moment experiences to be held into the vast field of your awareness. And perhaps noticing how your awareness is already so wide, without any particular texture or colors. Noticing how your awareness has no boundaries. how your awareness is transparent and clear and is never ever changed by your experiences. An emotion can arise and dissipate, but the awareness itself remains unchanged, untouched. Just like the universe, containing all of the stars, all of the planets, all of the nebulae, so is your awareness, always here, always present. Even in the midst of challenges, trouble, difficulties, it contains them all. And this is true also for moments of joy, of happiness, of peace. Your awareness is only one breath away, one moment away. Open, boundless, vast. For the last few moments of this meditation that we have together, I encourage you and invite you to fill the vast space of your awareness with some loving intention, some heartedness, kindness, awareness, filling up all the space around you with the qualities of your heart that are inherent to you. You may wish perhaps to place an hand on your chest, on your heart. You don't have to. And as we are resting here with loving intention, heartedness, kindness, warmth, generosity, compassion, I am inviting you to send wishes of well-being, of goodness out into the world, into the universe, far, far, far away. To all beings, to all people, wishes of good health, wishes of friendship, wishes of reconciliation, wishes of peace, wishes of ease, wishes of comfort, wishes of non-violence, wishes of inclusion, wishes of respect, wishes of love and harmony toward one another. Taking here a few deep breaths to send out from your heart like a luminous beaming of light all those wishes of wellness, of goodness, of kindness into the world, into the whole universe, just like stars, shining out their goodness. And Rumi said, it is only from the heart that we can touch the sky. So taking one moment here to take a few deep breaths and sensing how by being aware in the vast sky of your awareness, you can touch with your heart, the whole universe around you. And also what it feels like to receive all that goodness from all the people practicing here right now together. Maybe taking a moment here to acknowledge and thank each other for being here in this way, for cultivating the qualities of awareness, of heartedness, of kindness and compassion toward one another. And then slowly, whenever you are ready, you can take a few deeper breaths and at your own pace, gently reopening your eyes if they were closed, or widening your gaze to reconnect to the room, to the environment, to the space around you. Thank you so much for your practice. Thank you so much for this beautiful moment that we are sharing together in this open awareness meditation tonight. As we are reconnecting here to our screen, to the beautiful constellation, maybe taking a stretch if you need, standing up, taking a few deep breaths, maybe a sip of water before we jump into our Q&A. So I hope you are still here. If you have a question about the practice, about what was shared earlier through the constellation, though I'm not an astronaut, or if you have questions about the science of mindfulness, or even you would like to share your experience, anything you have learned today, what you noticed, what you maybe enjoyed, something that you're going to take away from tonight. I would be very happy to hear it. So someone says thank you. So I want to say thank you back. Thank you for being here. Okay. So I have a question from Stephanie, who first says thank you for a wonderful meditation, Greg. Thank you, Stephanie, for being here and practicing. Can you please tell us the difference between what we did and transcendental meditation? Yeah. Well, I have never practiced transcendental meditation myself, but if you like, the difference between, if you take meditation, we have mindfulness, we have transcendental meditation, we have Zen, we have mantra. So you can compare that to a big category. So meditation, the category might be sports, big category. In sports, we have many different types, right? Maybe hockey, tennis, gymnastic. It is the same with a different type of meditation that exists. So mindfulness is one type. It's a completely secular practice. We are learning to pay attention to the present moment experiences. So today we went into an open type of awareness. We could have done a more focused. Transcendental meditation, I do believe that people repeat a mantra, and I think it might be a shorter time period. So that would be an example. Some people like to do mantra practice. That's going to be different. Zen type of practice is a more focused practice. Zen practice, for instance, comes from lineage, and it's not necessarily always secular. You may have heard of Buddhist practice. This is going to be tied to maybe a more spiritual, religious way, whereas mindfulness practice is open to all. So thank you for this great question. I know the transcendental meditation was one of them practiced by the Beatles. So someone said to me, what is a good book to learn more about meditations? There are so many good books. Well, it depends on what you are looking for. I have been trained through UMass Medical School, so I would like to recommend any book by John Kabat-Zinn because they're solid. He is a doctor, so there is a lot of science tied back in research, especially if you liked what I shared with the stress reaction, the stress response. You will find a lot of good information there and actually some practices as well. I also have been trained by my dear Diana Winston, and she recently wrote The Little Book of Being. You might like to check out this one. She also co-wrote a book, Fully Present, with Sue Smalley. It is a wonderful book. So there are many more. Feel free to email me. I will share my information after the Q&A and I can provide more resources. Oh, someone in French, merci. I will say merci back. Thank you for the good word. That was wonderful. Someone, Lori, said that she really enjoyed expanding out of herself. Thank you for a wonderful session. Yes, and to that regard, I would like to say that sometimes when we are in a more open, spacious type of awareness, that helps us let go more of stories in which we are caught up, stress about ourselves. It's not always true. I know sometimes we do feel things that come up because we are in stillness, and sometimes during the day we ignore them and we push them away and we try to avoid them. So in this moment, we learn to meet things as they are, and if it's a difficult moment, we try to bring kindness, compassion to ourselves, just the way it is, right? We are not commanding our experience, we're not choosing them. Okay. Someone anonymous said, I enjoy the images. I am a newbie and I'm not sure how it would feel like. I find myself distracted with thought. Is it normal? Thank you so much for this question. Yes, it is completely normal. Why? Because our minds have been programmed to think, right? So thinking is a natural part of ourselves, where sometimes people have a misconception and they think that when we meditate, we try to stop thinking. Not at all. In mindfulness meditation, we are learning to meet our experience as it is. We may notice that the mind is very active. We have a lot of thoughts, or on contrary, the mind is very calm and it's one thought here and one thought there. So we are noticing the general state of the mind, but instead of diving into the content of the thought that we would do in normal time, we avoid going into the content. We notice the thought arising and going away, arising and going away. So if you're a newbie, an open awareness might be a little bit more difficult. You might want to start first by practicing, by focusing on your breath or focusing on the sensation of the feet. And as soon as you notice a thought, you can say thinking, the labeling, and then returning the attention back to the breath or back to the body. And then again, another thought arises, thinking, and then back to the primary object of focus. And you may have to do that 20 times in a minute, 100 times, one time. So not getting caught up into that, not getting angry or frustrated or upset. This is just the way it is. That's why we say we are bringing that layer of non-judgment when we practice and kindness towards ourselves. We are just noticing the experiences, not getting caught up. Thank you, wonderful question. Someone said she loved, Andrea loved starting the practice with noticing the space. It brings awareness inward, and that was beautiful. Thank you, Andrea. I'm very grateful for this practice as well. It has helped me a lot, and I would like to invite you maybe later tonight, tomorrow, when you are either in your home or you are outside, instead of maybe just noticing a tree and noticing a house and noticing a car and a green light, see if you can notice the space in between all these objects. Spaces between two cars, spacing between two trees, or a house and a tree, spaces between you and the sky, and see if that changes anything in your experience or not. Just kind of being curious how this shift of focus might differ. Jennifer said, do I offer online meditation classes? Yes, Jennifer, I do. I do right now. And I'm going to share my website in a moment, so please stay put. I'm going to have a few events coming up next week, and I would like to offer a class series starting in September when people are back from the summer break. And I offer some time a drop-in like that. And of course, I would love to continue collaborating with the Museum of Science. I'm so happy to be here, and I love working with James and Bethany. So another question from Emily: when doing the mindfulness meditation, how many times a week do I recommend doing it, and how long? Well, it all depends on you and your schedule. It is for sure evident through the neuroscience that the more often we do it and the longer we do it, the more effect on the brain, the body, the awareness. With a longer practice, I've been practicing for several years. I see a huge difference from my first year, where I remember my first year, I would maybe practice a lot and then stop, and then practice every other day and then stop. I wasn't really consistent. But now I practice every day. It's the first thing I do in the morning, and I used to find so many excuses to not practice because I was like, why wouldn't I do this? Or this seems more interesting, and this and that. But then one day I really woke up and realized I feel so much more in tune with myself, my relationship, the environment when I practice every day. I feel more awake. If I feel I have a difficult time, I'm more able to unplug quickly. And I'm not saying it's going to be true for everybody, but through a regular practice, there is a change that will happen for most of us. So maybe starting with a goal that is accessible to yourself, even 5 minutes, 10, 15, 20 minutes, finding a time, a space during the day that is good for you, and then building up from there. And then, you can go as far as an hour or more. And there are apps out there. You can take classes I offer. That's a good build up to begin. And at the beginning, it's important, I think, to have someone to guide and be here, practicing by yourself and then practicing with people, with teachers. Thank you. Okay, so a question. Someone, Smita, asked, but what if I fall asleep? Is that okay? So guess what, Smita? A lot of us, we are underslept, especially right now. People are stressed. There is a lot of unknown certainty, and for sure, our sleep can be disturbed. So sometimes when we take a moment like that to drop in, the body is just tired, and it is letting us know that perhaps it is time to sleep a little more. So of course, the intention is to stay awake in mindfulness meditation, but if you fall asleep, you fall asleep. And can you bring in forgiveness to yourself and practice again? And maybe also try different times during the day to practice. There are times where maybe it's easier to sustain the attention. Thank you, Kelsey, with a beautiful program. Thank you for your beautiful presence. I don't see you all, but I really sense that you are here in the deepest ways. Someone said, I find myself so relaxed within this meditation practice that I get dream-like thoughts, and it can take me a minute to realize, is this normal? Yes. We are not controlling our mind, right? So some people may share exactly the same as you, having dream-like thoughts, because we are a bit into stillness. So if we are agitated, moving a lot during the day, that brings a little bit more calm, ease, peace in our life, perhaps not. So noticing those dream-like thoughts, and again, instead of going too long into the story, as soon as we notice, we gently, kindly escort back the attention to either the breath, the sound, here into the vast open field of awareness, and we practice again and again. And again, someone here say, what is the best time to practice meditation, morning or evening? This all depends to you. Some people like to do both. Some people like to do one or the other. Some people like to do midday time. There's not really a right time. You can really practice at any time, actually. So exploring that for yourself. Sharon says, thank you. Someone asked me what made me start practicing meditation. And thank you for asking this question. there was a moment in my life where I realized that I was spending a lot of time projecting myself into the future and thinking about the past. And I felt that I wasn't fully present to my life, and I wanted to feel alive, and I felt I had so much more that I can offer to the world. I have all these intentions. You know, I knew I wanted to provide something on wellness and goodness and helping, feeling more awake and spreading well-being, which is really kind of the mission of my company, to spread healthy, active lifestyles and well-being. And I was searching, is there a way to be less in the past, less in the future, less stressed, and more connected to myself, to the environment? And that's how I discovered mindfulness, and it really changed my life. I didn't know I was going to become a teacher, and I was going to be here tonight. So living a life fully present. And I have some thank you for the experience. Someone said, this reminds me why meditation is a practice, as I was challenged to stay in the moment, present moment, and I've been experiencing that before. Yes, absolutely. That's why we call it a practice. We never know how this practice is going to be. Sometimes we feel very connected to the moment. Sometimes we are noticing a lot of agitation, thought in the future, thought about the past. So always remembering that what happens now may not happen next time. We never know. Inviting that don't know mind, that openness, that curiosity, and again, that kindness toward ourselves, not beating ourselves because it's hard to think of now. Sometimes it is difficult to open our eyes and be present and be willing to be awake to our life. It is hard work, but inherently it is a radical self-act of love toward yourself and toward others, toward the environment. If we can be here awake, present, alive, how much more can we offer to the world? Yeah, someone said that they were new and they started to experience a stronger emotion, almost crying. Is this a common response? Thank you for asking this question. Yeah, it can happen. Sometimes it triggers crying because we are sad about something and we are not able to process it. So things come up on the surface. Sometimes crying because of the joy and being connected to the moment. There are different reasons why. So we're not trying to really understand why and analyze that. But sometimes when we experience strong emotions, being very gentle with ourselves and caring, and if it feels like too much, you can always stop the meditation. The other option, of course, is also seeking the help of maybe someone like a therapist, a psychologist, because sometimes mindfulness needs to be done in conjunction to something else. So thank you for this question. And I hope you find what's right for you, maybe practicing more with mindfulness, maybe finding support as well. Someone asked, and I'm going to answer one or two more questions because the time has been flying by. I've been having so much fun, about being nervous before public speaking, and if there is something that they can do before public speaking. Yeah, absolutely. So wonderful question. Remember at the beginning of the meditation, how I said, oh, you can sense your body on the chair, your feet, your breath. So maybe before going to speak into public, whether you are sitting or standing, taking a moment to either close your eyes or keep them open, soft-gazed, and just sensing your feet in contact with the floor, sensing that sense of groundedness, of solidity that you get with the earth, and seeing if you can stay with your body sensation for a few moments, or few deep breaths, or just the sound. And this will bring you into the present moment, as opposed to maybe anticipating, rehearsing, and having that fear of, oh, what's going to happen when I speak. Seeing if you can being really close to an immediate, real, direct experience you're having. So the night is coming on my end. I can see I'm getting darker and darker. So maybe that's a sign that we should close up. I would like to, ooh, the light is back, it's magic. I would like to thank you all for being here tonight, for all your wonderful questions, your sharing, your openness, for asking all these questions. If I missed any questions, please feel free to write me an email, to contact me. I'm happy to be here of support to you in your journey of being awake. I would like to thank you so much for taking this time to spend with me to discover a little bit more about the cosmos together. And then on that note, I would like to share in my thank you my little credit slide. So it's a thank you to you all, of course, for being here. And it's also a thank you for a lot of people. So take a picture of that page, grab your phone. I'm going to put myself on the side here. And that's my website. Visit me, Integrative Mindfulness and Movement.com. For any caring support, donation, especially in those hard times, I thank you so much. If it's possible for you, feel free to visit my website. Anything you can donate, I'm much appreciated. And then I'm on the social media. I always post any new class, events like tonight would be posted on there. So your favorite one, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. My email is there, info@imminstitute.com. Please take note of that. Send me any email, comments, questions. You can follow me on Twitter. I would like to also give my special thanks and acknowledgement to my family and my friends, to all the teachers I've had in my life for allowing me to be here tonight, to train me, to guide me. In particular, I would like to thank UCLA Mark and the faculty, so Diana Winston and Tom. Thank you so much for everything that you have shared with me, for inspiring me to be here, to follow my dreams, to follow my heart. I would like to thank the Lowell Institute, who is the sponsor for tonight's event. We wouldn't be here without them. So thank you so much for allowing people to have fun, educative event at home. I would like to thank you, the Museum of Science, for their generosity, their kindness, their openness to host beautiful events, in particular Bethany and James for their wonderful support. And I would like to announce to finish my next event. So I have two events next week on the 4th and the 5th of August. I'm going to provide Pilates and bar fusion. It's all online. So join me on Zoom. The mindfulness and movement session is going to be on the Wednesday, same time as today. And then I will provide a class series in September, Fall Equinox Mindfulness Awareness series, in which we will explore different ways of being connected to ourselves, to our life, especially in those times. So there is a lot more description on my website. So again, take a picture, visit my website, ask questions, feel free to register. I would love to see you. I would love to continue. And I do help individual and organizations. So if you know anybody who would like to do group classes, organization would like to do event, maybe drop in for people to release their stress, to be more present, I'd be more than happy to be here and offer those events. So I would like one more time to thank you again so much for being here tonight, for taking a moment to explore the cosmos with me in different and fun ways, and to continue your life in a spacious way, with kindness toward each other, with awareness. So thank you so much, James. Whenever you are ready, I think you have a few announcements that you would like to make. So it's all yours.
No announcements. Just want to thank you one more time, Maïté, for such an amazing evening and an incredible exercise. As you could see in the Q&A, people were just raving. So we all thank you for taking us on this very special journey and bringing it into our homes. At a time I think we all could really use it. And I look forward to plenty more collaboration with you and the Institute, both virtually and hopefully on site. as soon as we can. And I want to thank everyone once again at the Lowell Institute for making tonight possible, and all of you out there watching. We thank you for joining us and spending your Wednesday night with us. There's plenty more programming still to come over the next couple of months, so check it out. Keep coming back and hang out with us. We hope to see you soon. Until then, have a great night, stay safe, and stay well. Thank you so much.